My girlfriend said, "We should break up." I replied, "Fine, let's do it the right way." Then I blocked her, stepped aside while she pursued the coworker she claimed was an upgrade, and watched as a simple birthday text turned into drama and a reality check she never saw coming. I am 31, work in corporate compliance for a mid-size insurance company. Not glamorous, but stable. I live in a one-bedroom apartment I have been in for 3 years. I am not flashy. I am consistent. I show up on time. I plan ahead. I do not play games. My girlfriend, Emma, is 27. We were together for just under 2 years. She works in marketing for a tech startup. Very social. Very image conscious. Very aware of who is watching her and what they might think. When we met, she liked that I was steady. Her words. Said I felt safe. Said I was different from the chaotic guy she used to date. I took that as a compliment. Over time, that compliment started sounding more like a backhanded one. About 4 months ago, she started talking a lot about a new coworker. His name is Tyler, creative director, wears expensive sneakers, drives a leased BMW, apparently has strong opinions about everything. At first, it was normal office chatter. Tyler said this. Tyler thinks that. Tyler closed this account. I did not care. People talk about work. Then it shifted. She started comparing. Not directly at first. More like subtle jabs. Tyler believes in taking risks. Tyler says people who play it safe never level up. Tyler works until midnight because he is hungry. One night at dinner, she said, "Some men just have that edge. That ambition. It is attractive." I asked if she was talking about someone specific. She smiled in that tight, almost smug way she gets when she thinks she is being clever. If the shoe fits. That was the first time I felt something move in my chest that was not jealousy exactly. More like a warning. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. We were at her place. She had just gotten back from a team happy hour. She was buzzing. Not drunk, just energized. Out of nowhere, she said, "Maybe we should break up." No lead up. No fight. Just dropped it like she was suggesting we switch restaurants. I asked why. She shrugged and said maybe we are just on different levels. Maybe I need someone who pushes me more. Then she added, almost casually, "I think I have outgrown this." This, meaning me. I did not yell. I did not beg. I just looked at her and said, "Fine. Let's do it the right way." She looked confused, like she expected resistance. That was the moment everything changed. When I said, "Let's do it the right way," she blinked like I had responded in the wrong language. She expected a debate, or at least some emotional reaction she could frame as me being insecure. Instead, I asked her practical questions. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Is this because of someone else?" She hesitated for half a second, then said, "Not exactly." That answer told me everything I needed to know. So I nodded and said, "Okay. If we are breaking up, we do it clean. No blurred lines. No late-night check-ins. No orbiting each other on social media. We close it properly." She laughed. Actually laughed. "You're being dramatic." I said no. "I'm being thorough." I told her if she believes she has outgrown me, then I am not going to stand in the doorway. But we are not doing the half-in half-out thing. We are not doing the soft breakup where we still text good morning. She rolled her eyes and said I was taking it too seriously. That we could still be friends. That mature people do that. I asked her if she planned on dating this coworker. She crossed her arms and said even if I was, that's none of your business if we are broken up. Fair enough. So I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and said then let's break up like adults. Tonight. Her expression changed slightly. Less smug. More cautious. She asked what I meant. I told her I would block her number. Remove her from socials. Not out of anger. Out of clarity. If she wants to explore this upgrade she seems so curious about, she can do it without me as emotional backup. She said you don't have to be so intense. I told her I wasn't intense. I was decisive. She tried to soften it then. Said maybe we just needed space. Maybe a break. I shook my head. A break is what people do when they want to test drive someone else, but keep their parking spot. We are either together or we are not. She stared at me for a long moment and then said fine. Break up. So I took out my phone right there. In front of her. I blocked her number. Blocked her Instagram. Blocked her TikTok. Removed her from our shared Spotify playlist. She watched me do it, waiting for me to crack. I didn't. Then I said I hope you find what you're looking for. And I walked out. That was the last time I saw her in person. Or so I thought. The first week after the breakup was quiet. Almost suspiciously quiet. No late-night calls. No emotional paragraphs from unknown numbers. No dramatic social media subtweets because I had already removed myself from her audience. That silence told me two things. One, She did not expect me to actually follow through. 2. She was busy. A mutual friend, Jason, texted me 3 days later asking if Emma and I were done for real. I told him yes. He replied with a single word. Wow. Apparently, she had shown up to work Monday glowing. New outfits, extra makeup, posting stories about new beginnings and leveling up. The subtext was obvious. By Friday, Jason sent me something I did not ask for but appreciated. A screenshot from her public Instagram story before I blocked her account fully through browser access. It was her and Tyler at a rooftop bar. Caption said, "Energy matters." He had his arm loosely around her waist. Not intimate, but not accidental. I felt nothing. Not rage. Not jealousy. Just confirmation. This was not a breakup born out of incompatibility. It was a lateral move she wanted to make without the guilt. The interesting part was what happened next. About 10 days after the breakup, I got a notification on LinkedIn. Emma viewed your profile. Not a connection request. Not a message. Just viewing. I ignored it. Then a few days later, she tried to follow me from a secondary Instagram account I did not recognize. It had 0 posts and 2 followers. Blocked. I did not respond. I did not reach out. I did not ask mutual friends what she was doing. I meant what I said. Clean break. From what I gathered indirectly, she and Tyler were suddenly inseparable. Office lunches. Group outings. Subtle comments about ambition and chemistry. She was performing the upgrade narrative. What she did not know was that I had no intention of competing for the role. Then came my birthday. And that is when the "we should break up" storyline took a turn she absolutely did not plan for. My birthday was a Tuesday. Low key. I took the day off work, went to the gym in the morning, grabbed lunch with Jason, nothing dramatic. I did not post about it. I did not make a big deal out of it. Around 7:30 p.m., while I was at home watching a game, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message said, "Happy birthday. I hope you had a good day." No name. No emoji. Just that. I stared at it for about 5 seconds. I knew exactly who it was. I did not respond. 10 minutes later, another text from the same number. I didn't mean for things to end like that. Still no name. I blocked the number. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. The next morning, Jason called me before work. He sounded half amused, half concerned. He asked if I had heard from Emma. I said yes. She texted from a random number, and I blocked it. There was a pause. Then he said, "Well, that's awkward." Apparently, Emma had told people she and Tyler were seeing where it goes, but keeping it private and mature. She framed our breakup as mutual growth. No drama. No overlap. But here's where it got interesting. Tyler was at her place Tuesday night. She had posted a story of a cake with candles. No caption, just the cake. People assumed it was for him. It wasn't. It was my favorite flavor. Red velvet. Jason said Tyler made some joke in the office Wednesday morning about how clingy exes ruin birthdays, which meant she had told him I reached out. I hadn't. I told Jason I blocked her within minutes. He laughed and said, "Man, she told Tyler you responded. That you couldn't let go." That's when I realized the birthday text wasn't about nostalgia. It was about narrative control. She needed proof I still wanted her. I gave her silence instead. And that apparently complicated things. Because later that afternoon, I got an email from her. Subject line, "Can we just be adults about this?" That's when the drama actually started. The email was long. Emma has a very specific tone she uses when she wants to sound reasonable while subtly assigning blame. It starts with "I am not trying to start drama," followed by 3 paragraphs of revisionist history. She wrote that she heard I blocked her birthday text immediately, that it was unnecessary, that we should be able to wish each other well without hostility. She said Tyler heard about it, and now things were awkward at work because it looked like she still cared more than she claimed. Looked like. I read that sentence twice. So this wasn't about reconciliation. It was about optics. She continued. She said she told Tyler I had responded warmly, but needed space. She said she did that to protect my pride, so he wouldn't think I was bitter. Protect my pride. By lying. She asked if I could just confirm to mutual friends that we were on good terms. That there was no weirdness. That she didn't want things to feel tense at social events. Now here's where it gets interesting. If I had responded emotionally, she would have screenshot it. If I had ignored it entirely, she would continue shaping the story. So I replied once. Calm. Short. I wrote, "We are not on bad terms. We're just not in contact." I did not respond to your birthday text. I blocked the number. I wish you well. That was it. No accusations. No sarcasm. Just facts. I hit send and archived the thread. 2 hours later, Jason texted me again. Apparently, Emma was upset at work. Tyler had found out I never responded. How? Because one of Emma's friends asked me directly at lunch if I was still hung up, and I said no. I mentioned the block number casually. It wasn't dramatic. It was just the truth. That truth traveled fast. By the end of the week, the upgrade narrative was cracking. Tyler apparently didn't love the idea that she was reaching out to an ex on his birthday and then fabricating the response. And Emma? She didn't expect silence to speak louder than jealousy. But this was still just the beginning, because she was not done trying to control how this looked. The following Monday, I got another email. This one was shorter, sharper. Emma wrote that I was being petty, that telling people I blocked her made her look desperate, that I could have just said we left things amicably. I stared at that for a minute. I hadn't told people she was desperate. I had stated a fact when directly asked. There's a difference. She continued that Tyler was now questioning her intentions and that I needed to stop acting like a wounded ex. She said my silence was passive-aggressive. My silence. That was the part that almost made me laugh. I replied once more, because at this point I wanted clarity documented. I wrote, I did not volunteer anything. I answered honestly when asked. If your current relationship depends on what I say, that is not my responsibility. No insults. No emotion. Send. By that evening, the situation escalated. Jason called again. Apparently, Tyler had confronted Emma about the birthday text. He didn't love that she initiated contact. He loved even less that she lied about the response. From what I heard, she tried to spin it as closure. Said she just wanted to make sure there was no bad blood. Said I was intense and blocked her out of ego. That backfired. Because the more she framed me as dramatic, the more it clashed with the fact that I hadn't contacted her once since the breakup. Tyler apparently asked her a simple question. If he's so dramatic, why is he the quiet one? That question stuck. By midweek, Emma texted Jason asking if I was talking about her. He showed me the message. I wasn't. I hadn't posted a single thing about the breakup. The irony was wild. She broke up with me. She pursued the coworker she implied was an upgrade. She texted me first. She lied about my response. And now she was upset that my lack of reaction was destabilizing her new storyline. The part that intrigues me most is this. If I had fought for her, she would have used it as proof she leveled up. If I had insulted her, she would have used it as proof she escaped something toxic. Instead, I gave her nothing to work with. And that, apparently, is what caused the real problem. But it didn't end there, because she decided to escalate one more time. Friday night, I found out about the escalation through the most indirect way possible. My sister called me. She doesn't know Emma well. Met her maybe 3 times. So when she said, "Why is your ex following me on Instagram?" I almost laughed. Emma had sent her a follow request. Then, apparently, a message. It wasn't hostile. It was subtle. She told my sister she hoped I was doing okay. That she worried I was isolating myself. That she didn't want there to be tension between families. Between families. We were dating for 2 years. Not married. My sister asked me if I was spiraling. I told her no. She said, "Then why is she acting like you are?" Good question. That same evening, Jason forwarded me a screenshot from someone in Emma's office. Apparently, Tyler had pulled back. Nothing dramatic, just less enthusiasm. Less public affection. Less rooftop bar energy. Because here's the thing. If someone leaves a stable relationship claiming they've outgrown it, the new person wants to feel like a clear upgrade. Not a rebound. Not a test drive. Definitely not someone competing with a ghost. Emma had tried to prove to Tyler that I still wanted her. When that failed, she tried to prove to mutuals that she was unbothered. When that cracked, she pivoted to portraying me as emotionally unstable. The problem? There was no evidence. No angry texts. No subtweets. No drunk calls. Just a blocked number and a clean exit. By Sunday, she emailed again. This time the tone was different. Less defensive. More probing. She wrote, "Are you really just okay with how this ended?" That line told me everything. She expected disruption. She expected me to orbit. She expected emotional residue. Instead, she got absence. And absence doesn't validate anyone's ego. I didn't respond. But the following week, she made one final move that forced me to engage. And that's when she got the reality check she never saw coming. The final move happened at work. Not my work. Hers. Jason called me midweek, sounding like he was holding back laughter. Apparently, Emma had shown Tyler my email response. The short one. The factual one. She framed it as cold and emotionally detached. She said it proved I had always been distant. Tyler read it. And instead of reacting the way she expected, He asked her why she was still emailing me at all. That question spiraled. From what I heard, he pointed out that if she truly believed she had outgrown me, she wouldn't need reassurance from me. She wouldn't need narrative management. She wouldn't need validation that I was still affected. Emma apparently snapped back that he didn't understand long-term relationships, that she was just tying up loose ends. Loose ends. That phrase came back to me later, because 2 days after that conversation, I got a message request on LinkedIn. Not from Emma. From Tyler. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't threatening. It was simple. Hey man, I think there's been some crossed wires. Just wanted to confirm something directly. I stared at it for a while. I had zero interest in engaging in triangle drama, but I also wasn't interested in being a silent prop in whatever storyline she was constructing. So I responded. Briefly. He asked if I had been reaching out to Emma after the breakup. I said no. I blocked her the night we ended things. She reached out once on my birthday from an unknown number. I blocked that too. That's it. He thanked me. That was the entire exchange. No trash talk. No venting. No extra commentary. Two adults clarifying facts. The next day Jason told me Tyler had officially cooled things off. Not dramatic. Just distance. Less public. Less intensity. And Emma? Apparently she was confused about how everything got so complicated. But from where I'm sitting, it's actually pretty simple. She wanted options without consequences. And now she's learning what no contact really means. There's just one last piece to this story. The final piece happened at a mutual friend's birthday party. I debated going. Not because I was avoiding her, but because I genuinely didn't care to be part of any leftover tension. Jason convinced me. Said it was neutral territory. Said if I didn't go, it would look like I was hiding. So I went. When I walked in, she was already there. She saw me immediately. For a split second, her face did that micro-expression thing. Surprise. Calculation. Then composure. She walked over within 5 minutes. No hostility. No sarcasm. Just a quiet, "Can we talk?" We stepped onto the balcony. She looked different. Not physically. Just deflated. She said Tyler had officially ended whatever they were exploring. Said he felt like he was stepping into unresolved energy. Said he didn't want to compete with a man who wasn't even present. Then she looked at me and asked, "Are you really just fine?" That question again. I told her the truth. Yes. Not because I didn't care, but because I accepted what you said. You told me you outgrew this. I believed you. She shook her head and said she didn't think I'd take it literally. There it was again. She didn't expect consequence. She expected negotiation. She said she thought the breakup would wake me up, that I would suddenly become more intense, more ambitious, more like the version she imagined I could be. I told her something simple. If someone has to threaten to leave to feel chosen, they're not looking for a partner. They're looking for leverage. She went quiet. Then she asked if there was any chance. And for the first time, I didn't feel intrigue. I felt clarity. I said no. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just no. Because I don't compete for my own position in someone's life. We stood there for a few seconds. Then she said, "I really thought you'd fight." I shrugged. I did. I just fought for my peace instead. She walked back inside. I stayed on the balcony a little longer, not sad, not triumphant. Just aware that sometimes the biggest reality check isn't loud. It's silence.